So, the Chicago Bears have been linked to a defensive end that will be an absolute game changer, just a beast, perfect fit. And also, they find themselves in a totally new financial situation. What's up? My name is Sean. This is Sports Talk Bears. If you get a second, like and subscribe. So let's talk about this. Christmas came early, my friends. The NFL just announced that the salary cap will be $255 million. That's an unprecedented raise of $30 million. That's due to a windfall of new TV deals. And the league is just in such a healthy spot. We have more than $8 billion in payroll in the NFL. This means, right, that some teams they get to inch out of cap purgatory, but for us, for the Chicago Bears, we're now at 83 million in cap space. So guess what? Even after we sign or tag Jalen Johnson, we get to go shopping. It's just an incredible job that Poles has done managing this cap, and man, we are in such good hands. This should be applauded. And I'm going to go through some other choices, but the target at defensive end that I absolutely love is Jonathan Greenard from the Houston Texans. The Bears just loved what they saw, right? When Montez Sweat pressured passers, it was great. But when offensive lines overplayed them, it became problematic. And also the Bears, they know that they don't want to blitz 22.2% of the time. That's a figure that Sports Radar said was the 21st most highest finish for blitz rates by any of Matt Eberflus's 6 NFL defenses. So suffice it to say, we don't want to blitz 22% of the time anymore. That's not how the 4-3 works successfully. It's also why new defensive coordinator Eric Washington, he said that would be ending as well. I quote, we're going to be a team that generates pressure with our front four. We're going to build the best pass rush in football. Love to hear that. That happens to be fortunately, an area that I've had tremendous success with, and we have the personnel to get that done. So let's go to this story on Bears Digest, kind of outlines Greenard's 2023. He had a 78.5 PFF grade, 53 quarterback pressures, 12 and a half sacks. That's tied for 10th in the league in sacks, 6th in what I think is the most important measure of who a player is as a defensive end, as a lineman, his pass rush win rate. And that's a staggering 22%. We're talking high athleticism, great bend, and the perfect tag team partner for Montez Sweat. He's also only 26 years old, and he'd be joining a team that needs him. We are 31st in the league in sacks, only 30 sacks total. And we also have our new defensive coordinator, Eric Washington, declaring that he's going to build the best pass rush in the league. We're going to be aggressive, and Greenard is the guy. I fully believe this. We're blessed here. We're blessed with what the Bears have. We have Gervon Dexter. He looks like he's the dude at 3-tech. Billings, he looks like he can lock down nose tackle if we need him to. We have a developing Zach Pickens, and I'm going to trust that Washington can get the best out of him. I'm also going to go to this story on A to Z Sports. It's just a fantastic source here for later. Let me close this down for a moment. Thank you. I'm my own producer here. Also, he's a true defensive end who can also play the run, and also he will be cost effective. Spot Track estimates we could get him for only $13 million a year. That's a 5-year contract worth just under $54 million, 13.4 annual salary. That's a perfect fit. Young, ascending, and reasonably priced. So signing a player is that's just about to enter his prime. That's so appealing for a number of reasons. Bears GM Ryan Poles, he's shown a tendency to stick to younger players. And Greenard, he's going to turn 27 in May. A to Z Sports points out a potential roadblock, and this is why I wanted to go here. This is such good reporting, you guys. A to Z Sports is a great source. Give them your business. I always want to give credit. So they're talking about this, and that's the fact the Bears already have $44.9 million of the cap space, or 18.16% allocated to the defensive line in 2024. This is a argument against signing a defensive end in free agency. Poles is pretty shrewd as a general manager, so it's more than likely that number stands out to him, especially when considering it's the 6th highest allocation in the NFL. That's a big number. But at the same time, While the defensive line is important for all teams, it's absolutely vital for the Bears. As mentioned earlier, it's vital for our 4-3 defense to have our front four provide the pass rush instead of blitzing at 22%. That's not great. Coach Fluce's defense, it simply doesn't work unless he can get home with 4 rushers on a consistent basis. The story backs this up. Therefore, this could be an exception for Poles. That being said, I think he's just the best match. I think Greenard is our guy, but for the sake of fairness, let's look at some of the other potential options. Like I said, we need to build a fearsome foursome here. And the 4 players I'm classifying as fits for the Bears, that's Houston defensive end Jonathan Greenard. We just talked about him. Buffalo end AJ Epinesa. Indianapolis edge Tyquan Lewis. And a bigger get as a bonus, Hunter out of Minnesota. I think, for example, Josh Allen, he's not going to make it out of Jacksonville. Chris Jones, he wants to win more rings with the Chiefs. And I also think Baltimore gets a contract done with their defensive end. I'm also removing Brian Burns from the equation, and I'll tell you why. He'd be too expensive for what we're going to get. And also, he has a very low pass rush win rate of 11%. That's half of what Greenard's in. So I'm saying no thanks. Talking about Epinesa, though, he's intriguing. He fits our defensive end prototype size. He's at 6'6", 260, but in 4 years, he only has 15.5 sacks. He did get 13 of those the last 2 years. He appears to be ascending, but he has only 14 pressures each of the last 3 seasons and 7 quarterback knockdowns the last 2 years, and that's according to Sports Radar. There's one curveball here, though. Epinesa is familiar with new Bears defensive coordinator, Eric Washington. I couldn't think of his name from their time working together in Buffalo. So it could be a good fit, right? And with the trust Washington already has, and it's well-deserved, if he says Epinesa is the guy, I'm sure Flus, he will listen. Another player with a past tie to the coaching regime is Lewis. And he also is a player who seems to be on the rise after a very slow start to his career. Lewis doubled his prior career high in a season with 44 pressures in 2023. It's an excellent total. And Lewis also, he's 6'3", 267. That makes him perfect size-wise for an end in Coach Flus's scheme, but he should be. It was Eberflus who had a hand in getting him drafted in 2018 by the Colts. As much pressure as Lewis generated last year, he had only 4 sacks and matched his career high, so that's not really a great number. He has only 13.5 sacks in 6 seasons. A team with Sweat and then a bunch of non-producers as pass rushers. We don't really need another one who can produce at least 6 sacks on his own. We need more than that. Cross him off. Let's get to Greenard once again. He had a breakout year in 2021 with 8 sacks, and many forgot about him in 2022. He had injury issues. He missed more than half the season. But last season, his healthy season during the Texans' run to the playoffs, he had 12.5 sacks. Unless you don't know, that's the same number as Sweat last year, and he also had 32 pressures, and that's pairing with Sweat's plus 50 pressures. Spot Track had him at a projected $13.4 million once again for Greenard, and that's only slightly more than the Bears paid Ngakoue last year. And Greenard, he is multi-dimensional. In this cap situation, that'd be easily manageable, and we still have tons of money to spend. Hunter, I want to finish with him. He's a guy that comes up a ton, but frankly, it's going to cost us a boatload, similar to what we're paying Sweat, and he's also 29 years old. I don't think it's realistic simply because we don't want to invest that much in one position at defensive end. And if we're going to break the bank for someone, let's just go out and get 25-year-old Chase Young. I mean, pair him back with his old teammate. That should be fantastic. But I just don't think that we should allocate that many resources to that position. I think Greenard is the perfect fit. He's ascending. He's young. He gets after the passer. He can also play the run. The stats support that. And he's also only 26 years old. By the time that the season starts, he'll be 27. Man, what a great fit. And you guys, I want to know what you think. Like and subscribe, leave some comments, and we'll chop it up. And appreciate each and every one of you. Bear down. See ya.